Very good evening. As we all are going through a difficult phase in life, this is the time we aspire to learn more from each other, that how we can overcome our challenges and how soon the normalcy will come back. Today we have with us Mr. Zorawar Kalra, who's the founder and MD of Massive Restaurants Private Limited, and also a judge of MasterChef India to the 2016. Hello, Mr. Zorawar, very good evening.
Hi, how are you doing? Good to be here.
Thank you so much. Perfecting the science of molecular gastronomy with India's spice and flavor, Zorawar Kalra is the name that commands respect in the industry of hospitality. Spearheading massive restaurants that includes Farzi Cafe, Code, Masala Library by Jigs Kalra, Rivers to Ocean, Made in Punjab, and Papaya under its wing. It has been an adrenaline-charged journey for him as he watches it grow exponentially. So, Mr. Zorawar, just tell us something about yourself, about the restaurants, about the industry. So how Massive Restaurant has tasted great success in Indian market with the aggressive plans for the future to be a major global company in the coming years. How has been your journey so far and what's next for Massive Restaurants?
The journey has been incredibly fulfilling, enriching, and a lot of fun. I think the reason why somebody gets into the restaurant business is because they're eternally optimistic, right? The restaurant business is tough. It's got very high failure rates, typically the highest failure rates of any industry in the world. And there are a lot of naysayers and a lot of reasons for not getting into it. However, it is also without a doubt probably the most rewarding industry you can ever get into. It's deeply fulfilling on a personal level. It's obviously very fulfilling on a career-based level. But overall, it's just, a wonderful journey. And it's more like a way of life. I would not even call the restaurant business like a career. It's a way of life. It's definitely not a job. And it's definitely not a 9-to-5 job. When everybody else is having fun, spending time with their family, that's the time our work really starts. And we're in the job of bringing happiness to people. That's what the restaurant industry is all about, especially in India, where restauranting or eating out is the #1 form of entertainment for Indians, 40 times larger than even Bollywood. So Indians enjoy eating out more than any other form of leisure or of entertainment. And it also occupies the largest percentage of gross disposable income spend on the Indian consumer's wallet. So it is a very enriching industry. It's something that you have to get in for the right reasons. I would encourage all to get in it only for the right reasons. The glamour only appears to be, very superficial and it's a facade. The glamour is really not the reason you should get into it, and there isn't much of it to begin with. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of systems. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. So get in it for the right reasons, but once you do and once you find success, it'll be oh so sweet.
That's really nice of you sharing this. So COVID-19 pandemic has struck all the sectors, while other sectors are slowly opening up, but the restaurant industry has taken a major hit. So how Massive are adapting to the new normal?
So it is a new normal for sure. And I think it's an existential crisis. The crisis is of epic proportions, unlike something we've seen before, and definitely something none of us were prepared for. Despite that, I feel that every crisis offers an opportunity. The opportunity here is to reboot, to rethink your business, to look at every single line item, to remove inefficiencies, to remove the fat, to become a lean, mean operation. Make sure that you're literally rethinking the entire business concept. And I don't mean change the entire business concept. And the restauranting is a great business. And as I've said before, everything can go virtual, but restauranting can never go virtual. People will always want to go out and get a good meal in a restaurant or have a drink at the bar. So that's not a fear, is not that business will come back. The business will come back eventually. It's about when and how you can survive till that normalcy returns. That being said, like I said, every crisis offers an opportunity for us. How we've taken advantage of this is we have really trimmed down. We've introduced a lot of technology where things were being done manually. We've tried to reduce costs. All unnecessary expenditures have been completely put on hold. We've also been overly cautious on our new openings. There were about 5 or 6 restaurants we were working on. At the same time, despite being careful on those openings, we've also found some opportunities. some very good new locations have come our way during the lockdown, which nobody was willing to take, and we got them at a very good deal. So despite being in a pandemic situation, we got an opportunity knocking on our door, and we knew we wouldn't get this opportunity again. So we've actually gone and closed a few sites, closed as in closed the deals on a few very promising new locations across India, and we're excited that these have come to us at the rate that they have. And the pandemic has in fact helped get us these locations at a fraction of what we would have signed them at even in February of this year. So from that perspective, I think there's a lot of opportunity. We've also been working heavily on innovating our menus and our restaurants. We've also trimmed down our menus. And we found that by trimming down the menu, our food costs have become so much more efficient. We've been able to reduce food costs. Obviously, the cost of sanitation and the masks, the hygiene stuff, and the guidelines are very expensive.
Sure.
They are adding to the food cost. But the food cost itself, the cost of goods sold from an ingredient perspective, has come down. We've also been able to, because we've got to maintain physical distancing in the kitchen as well, we've been able to reduce the number of staff. So there is some efficiency, but we're looking forward to getting most of our teams back into the restaurants. A lot of them, a very large percentage of them, are already back with us because we've already opened all our restaurants across India except for Mumbai, which is not allowed to open yet, although even that rule has now come in. So on October 5th, we're very happy that the government of Maharashtra has allowed the restaurants to open with 50% capacity. We're looking forward to welcoming back even those members of ours that were in the restaurants that were not yet open. So excited about the future. Definitely week on week, we're seeing improvements. They are slow and they are steady. So that's a good thing. We always have to be optimistic. We cannot always be hopeless about situations. You have to find the positive. And the lockdown definitely has had a huge impact, a very bad impact on the industry. But I think we should all now accept it as something that has happened and learn to improve ourselves as a result of what's happened and maybe strengthen ourselves even further.
Sure. A very famous saying that every challenge has an opportunity in it. So you have proven it. So technology is the ruling the roost these days. So what technology driven steps you have taken, or any innovation that is there on the cards?
A lot of innovation. From a safety perspective, things like ultraviolet lights to check for contamination spots, to HEPA filters to be installed into our HVAC systems, to the use of contactless menus and feedback systems, to enhancing our POS systems, our point of sale systems. Even our inventory systems have become highly technical. We're about to introduce a solution which is going to enable us to check our daily liquor and beverage inventory in 10 minutes as opposed to 1.5 hours. So literally at the drop of a hat, within 10 minutes, I can know exactly the state of our inventory and know any variances and so on and so forth. So technology has crept its way into the restaurant industry at a pace that has never been seen before as a result of the COVID. And we've all understood that technology is an enabler, is a positive thing, and it must be harnessed in a positive way to make your restaurants and your company a lot more efficient and robust. A lot of pilferage things can be stopped, time can be saved, better, more detailed data feedback can be collected. So we've incorporated technology from the back end to the front end from a safety perspective and from a menu perspective, but in the back end from an inventory control perspective and a data collection and analysis perspective.
Sure. So what long-term impact will the pandemic have on the restaurant industry, and what trends as per you will rule the food industry post-pandemic?
Well, I think the impact has been absolutely existential in nature. It's huge. You're going to see, unfortunately, a lot of closures, and we all know how much effort, how much time, how much energy, how much love goes into building every single restaurant. So every time a restaurant shuts down, please understand, somebody put their blood, sweat, and tears into it. Maybe their livelihood depended on it. So it's unfortunate that you're going to see about, by some estimates, 25 to 30% closures. I'm hoping it's nowhere close to that. I hope it doesn't happen. Unfortunately, the data currently points towards that happening. The impact is going to be significant, to not just employment, to not just livelihoods, to the way people's nature is, or way people's habits are. But the habit part is going to be very, very gradual. Old habits die hard. And humans just love congregating at restaurants, enjoying their life special moments with their family, with their friends. It's a way to escape. It's a way to relax, to wind down after a week of very hard work. So restaurants will never go away. And as I said earlier, restaurants can never go virtual. And I know you can deliver food at home, but you can't recreate a restaurant experience virtually. You have to be there physically, and there can be no replacement for that. So from that perspective, I think the impact will last for some time. We're assuming and we're hoping that by December, you'll be at around 70–80% of pre-COVID numbers. If that happens and if the restaurants become efficient, you'll realize that you're doing okay. But obviously, this is pure speculation at the moment. There's no way for us to know. And we're hoping there's no second wave. And I don't want to scare people, but if there is a second wave and there's a second lockdown or something like that, that'll be even more devastating for the industry. So if you're a budding entrepreneur trying to get into the restaurant industry, I say wait. Don't put your money in now. Wait to see how things are panning out. Wait to see how the market is responding, how the consumers are responding, and then take that call. So as long as you're cognizant of that and you're aware of some of these hurdles that are being imposed due to the pandemic, and you're aware of that, you'll be in a better position to enter the business in the future. And even for people like us who've been in it for some time, have a large scale business, even for us, it's very important to sit back, consolidate, forget about growth, think about survival, and don't think about growing too quickly, unless, of course, like I said, you're getting a deal. Some good opportunities are going to come by, and if you have funds available, definitely do try them out. But make sure that you're not undercapitalized. The moment you're undercapitalized and you're going to the COVID scenario with very little money in the bank or no working capital, chances are you might have to shut shop. So I think it is one of those things that will take time, but we are still hopeful that by December you'll see a good improvement, and hopefully we'll be back on our feet.
Much, Zorawar. We really appreciate your time in sharing your thoughts, which can be helpful for many. So please stay connected. Lead Exhibitions will be back with many more such insights. Bye and stay safe.
Appreciate it. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.